And she's like, no, I don't really have a note that's too high. And that's true. That's what's funny is I was like, what's too high for you? And she's like, I don't know if I've really, I was like heading up the guitar neck trying to find a note. It's like, she's good, whatever, you know.
Well, this is pretty chilled, Brad. Just before you go and you're headlining C2C, and we've got a settee that we can just sit and chat for 2 or 3 minutes. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm thrilled to be back. This thing has grown beyond belief, and I'm honored that they still invite me.
And this is your third one, right? Your third C2C now.
Seems like it. You could be right.
I think 10 years ago and then 2017.
Yeah, it seems right.
And you're completely right as well. Country music has absolutely, I mean, we're always pretty keen on it, but like you say, it's gone stratospheric now.
It's great. I think that, you know, we learned early on that there was way more of an appetite than we expected for this stuff. And now it's really fun when they invest and people, you know, they pregame for this. They're ready. They are like, they do their research, they listen, they deep dive on the songs, and they show up, and it's the best audience any artist could ask to play for. I believe that.
And the thing is, for us as well, as an audience, I mean, you know, in America, you guys, this is your home turf. Everyone gets it, like, can tap into it all the time.
Yeah.
Here, it's a big deal. You have to make an effort to get here.
Yeah.
So the fact, I've been outside earlier, you know, in some of the bars and watching people, they're so stoked up for this because it doesn't happen every day.
It's also, we have to, you know, it's a lot of work for us to get here, but it's a lot of work for them as fans because it's not in the ether. It's just not floating around in midair for them to grab any time. They got to seek it out a little bit, you know, and it's not on every other radio station here, and it's not on TV that much. So it's really a matter of, like, they've got to, like, they have to decide they're a country fan, and then they got to do some homework. And for those people to show up, you can imagine what it's like to play for somebody that appreciative.
And they're like you say, they're really invested. So you're in for a night tonight. Well, you've been doing some of other stuff around Europe as well, anyway, haven't you?
Yeah,
more recently.
We were all over, starting in Iceland and Scandinavia and let's see, the Netherlands or Holland, and we were in
Germany.
We played Berlin. This has been a long, great couple of weeks of this kind of thing, and it always culminates, though, for me with England, with London and Scotland, and also, you know, we're going to Belfast tomorrow. That'll be the first time in Belfast, but I expect nothing less than the times we've been over there, you know, in terms of what we see there in Ireland. It's just an amazing.
And speaking as an Irish man myself,
yes, exactly.
They will be seriously up for it. So that's you're in for a treat there too.
Yeah, the differences, the regional differences over here in audiences are absolutely apparent, and all of them charming, unique. The way that they sing back certain things, the way that they create a dance to something, the way that they, you know, every place has their thing, and we are discovering that, and it's great.
Well, I arrived here at about 1 o'clock today, and they were already prepping, you know, in the bars and stuff. So by the time you get on tonight,
they're not going to remember me.
Yeah.
Maybe
who's this guy?
Yeah. Maybe they'll look at their phone tomorrow and go, I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, they will be, seriously, they will be ready for that. Can I ask you as well about new music? Because we've had this idea, we've been told a number of times now that, you know, the new album is coming, and so exactly when, or do you know yet, or have you decided? Or?
Yeah, I don't know yet. We're working on that, and I'm honored. I mean, I'm so flattered when somebody wants to know what's going on with it. I'm really trying to get it right and say what I want to say with it, and it's close. I would hope it's one of these days we'll be ready to sort of say here's when it's coming, and but I think you'll love what I'm doing with it. You know, for lack of a better description, I feel like as a product of probably most likely the immigrants that came over to settle in Appalachia, you know, and brought what we think of as country music to America, that, you know, became that Celtic thing that became what this is. You know, the fiddles and the guitars and the mandolins.
Love
and,
that. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that influence in this record. And my area, where I'm from, West Virginia, is one of the birthplaces, one of the hotbeds of that. I mean, the coal mines there and the front porches of that area are where this music took life. And we really, for this record, I've gone back and tried to sort of tap into that and make sure that whatever I'm doing on this album, there's a foot rooted in that. And, you know, being in Glasgow yesterday, it's like, here I am, we land, and it's Paisley is the name of the city where the airport is. And there's a lot more Paisleys in the phone book over here than there are over in America. And so, yeah, it's been, it's on my mind as I play this stuff over here and I think about the album. I'm thinking, okay, I can't wait almost more for you guys to hear it than anyone in America.
Well, you've whet my appetite, and everybody watching and listening to this as well. And certainly you suggested, you know, maybe more of a traditional route, or certainly elements of that, because country music has gone off in so many different directions now as well.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the stuff that you would, there's a basis for these songs as if they were written on a front porch, you know, written with wind blowing through the trees and, you know, the echo in a holler, as we would say over there, that valley in between the mountains. And so, and it's fun to incorporate that into music. And it's just another way, it's another slant, it's another thing to ground you when you're producing something.
And also, I suppose, you know, an artist at the level you are now, there must be such a difference. So back in the early days, when the record company are putting pressure on you, you know, we need an album now, or this is your deadline or whatever. Now you're in total control.
Yeah.
That must give you an awful lot of freedom as well.
It does. It's also, you know, it'll be the first thing I've put out on Universal, on a new label that is back with people that were in charge of me early on at Arista when I was a new artist. It's the same people over there, moved over there, and so that's the label I'm on now. And so it's a new regime, and so what's great about that is they aren't saying, here's the date.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to be like, here's the date you need to make for this record. Who cares what's on it? Here's the date. It's like,
just finish it.
To me, it's about, okay, I'm done. This is everything I want to say.
That's come across very clear here as well, which is great for the fans too, isn't it? Because obviously, you know, they're going to get the finished product just as you want it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm very aware there's a lot of people around here, and you've got to do. Some of your people are going, come on, Brad, we got to get back on stage soon. So I'm first of all very thankful that you've spared some time for us.
I'm thankful you guys play my music. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, as you say though, let's just, if you don't mind, let's just finish with one of the big songs the fans absolutely adore on our station is Remind Me. Would you mind just telling us and telling them too, you know, the story behind that song?
Yeah. That was something that we had toyed with doing a duet, Carrie and I, on something, but we didn't have the song, and I was working on that album that's on, and I just said, and I was sitting around and I just felt like the album, it's similar to this situation. I didn't think it was done. And everybody said, are you done? Can we put this out? And I said, I'm missing something. And then sat down and wrote with a friend of mine, a couple of friends of mine. One of them had this idea. And the idea was more about remind me of the things that I almost forgot or something. And I just said, no. I said, I think that it's a song it's a conversation. It's physical. It's like, remember how that felt early on when we would make out before the plane took off and those things. And it's like, and it's just such a cool hook to say, remind me, you know, as opposed to remind me I need to do the dishes. It's that. And so, and the song became this really cool physical manifestation of like the things that you forget as time goes on. And so I remember calling Carrie on the phone the next day and saying, I think I have the duet that would be great. And I said, here's what happens. It's like, you know, been so long, bet you forget the way I used to kiss. And then I'm like, and you sing, remind me. I said, what? Can you hit that? Like, what note? And I said, do you have a note that's too high as I pick the key for this? Because that's the fun part, is that you don't see that coming, that she finishes the sentence. And she's like, no, I don't really have a note that's too high. And that's true. That's what's funny is I was like, what's too high for you? And she's like, I don't know if I've really, I was like heading up the guitar neck trying to find a note. It's like, she's good, whatever, you know. There's things too low, but not too high for her.
I mean, listen, it's brilliant to get an insight like that, and I really appreciate. So thank you so much
thank you.
For spending some time with us.
Well, thanks for playing me, and I'll keep coming back as long as you guys are foolish enough to invite me.
Well, that means you'll be back a lot more times, so
Good.
that's got to be good news. Brad, it's been an absolute pleasure.
You've been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.